Hi lovely friends, welcome back. I am Chess, this is the Scapegoat Club, and here I talk about some pretty icky things, and today is pretty icky. I am going to talk about what happens if a family member that you are estranged with dies when you are still estranged. Alrighty, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. And I think just before I start in this one, because it is a little bit of a heavier subject, I just want to do a couple of disclaimers. This is just my opinion, and I am coming to this perspective from the fact that I am estranged from my family, my aging parents, and our relationship has been very, very difficult, and they've been very what I now know is very abusive towards me. And so I'm definitely coming at this from a perspective of I'm doing what I need to do to keep myself safe. And I do understand that there are different estrangements, there are different levels of estrangement, and that there are different situations. So I hope you will take this perspective as you will, and if you don't find it useful or don't think it is applicable to your situation, then please do what you need to do to look after yourself, because this is a really tricky subject. Having said that, for those of us who are in this kind of situation where we feel that we have had to, or we are going to, or estrange ourselves or separate ourselves from family members because it's something we cannot avoid and we have to do for our own health, and really there is no other option. It's a choice of shitty or shittier. Estranging ourselves from our close family members is horrible. It's a gut punch. It feels terrible. It's disorienting. It's soul destroying. On so many levels, it's really, really difficult. And yet the choice is that or stay in an abusive relationship that is stopping us from doing what we need to do in our lives, stopping us from being able to live our lives as we need to, and can really have serious effects on our mental and physical health. It's a no-win situation, and we have to choose the best we can. So what happens? What happens if we are estranged from our parents? Let's just say our parents for now, and we never reconcile. Well, my thoughts go something like this. I did not estrange myself from my parents for fun, on a whim, just because I was having a bad day, because I was having some tantrum or meltdown. I estranged myself because I had no choice, and it was the last resort, and I tried to talk to them, I tried to explain, I tried to avoid the estrangement on so many levels. And there were many times when I want to say I kind of gave them a warning. I was like, this is not working, this has to change. And I stepped back in a few different ways, and so nothing I did, or no part of that process, gave me any other choice but to have to say that, well, there's nothing more I can do. You're not listening. I can't get my message across. It's too damaging, and I have to look after myself. So knowing that I did the best that I could, for me is kind of central to this, well, what happens? So yeah, let's talk the truth. It is most likely that my parents will die before I will. And at present, it doesn't look like we have any way of reconciling or reconnecting on any level. And so I think about, what happens when they pass? What happens when they die? Well, I think there are a few things. I won't lose companionship from them, because I haven't had that really ever in my life, and definitely for a long time in my adult life. I haven't had a positive relationship that I will miss, or that I will, I will mourn. And actually, talking of mourning, that's really what I've been doing through the estrangement process, is mourning the loss of the hope that I will ever have a relationship with them, have the relationship that I want. So there's a huge amount of grief when you realize that your parents aren't going to provide you with the safe and loving and respectful relationship that we crave as children. And so there is a huge amount of grief and mourning that's already happened for me through the estrangement process. So I think really the thing that would change when they die, well, first of all, there's going to be that terrible, sad knowledge that time's run out and that it isn't going to change. And even though I am 99.9% sure right now that my parents aren't going to change, and that I'm never going to be able to have a decent relationship with them, there is just that tiny bit of hope. Actually, 99.9 is too much. Maybe I'm just 99% there. I think there is this 1% of me going, maybe they'll just, something will happen and they will figure this out. They will, on some level, just some sparkle or light there, and there is some hope that maybe they'll soften a little bit. But of course that can't happen when someone has died. And so I will have to deal with that, and I don't know what that's going to be like. And I think so I've got kind of two thoughts with that, really. And the first one is that I am going to look back, and I look back on how our estrangement happened in the relationship that we had. And I am finding peace with the idea that I have done everything that I know how to do to try and to do my best with what's happened. The last thing that I said to my parents in a letter was, this is what happened. You've accused me of things that I didn't do. I want to tell you that this is not what happened. And I found it really difficult that you have tried to tell me that I did these things. And I found that really hurtful, and I found it really difficult, but it is what it is. And I just can't do this relationship anymore like this. I can't carry on. And so it's up to you. And if we're going to have a relationship, I need honesty, I need respect, I need to work in the realm of truth. And I'm just saying this, and I'm not blaming. And I wish you peace with whatever you decide, but this is where I am. And I spent a lot of time writing that last letter, and it was a while ago now, and I kept it, and I'm proud of myself. And I'm sure it wasn't perfect, and I doubt that they read it in the way that I intended it. I don't know, I shouldn't say that. I don't know how they read it. But I signed it off saying, whatever you do, I wish you peace and a good life. I like the idea that that's the last thing I said to my parents, if that is the last thing I say to them. The last things my parents have said to me are things like, what a terrible, selfish, hurtful person I am, how I've destroyed the family, how if I loved them, I would do this. I obviously don't care, but if I did, I would do X, Y, Z. So for me, I'm happy with the last thing that I said to them. So when I kind of think about it from that perspective, actually, yeah, I'm okay with that. If that's what it is, if this is how it ends, then I think I'm okay with it. But I also think that when the end does come, it's going to be very difficult. There's going to be a lot of difficult emotions. It's not going to be a clean break. I've heard therapists talk about complex grief, and I think this definitely applies to situations like this, where we can't mourn, a clear love. We can't mourn a relationship that makes sense. So I think when it does come, I'm going to need to be very, very gentle with myself. I'm going to need to have all the supports around me, friends, family, healthy people, therapist, who knows what I'm going to need. But I think knowing that I need to be very kind and gentle with myself when it happens is part of my strategy. And I think the other part is that there is going to be guilt. There's going to be guilt from other family members around attending funerals. I don't know what will happen when it comes to wills. And assuming one parent dies before the other, what role does the surviving parent take on? Will there be a lot of emotional blackmail there? I don't know about that part, and I'm really going to have to cross that bridge when I come to it. But I also don't see there's any point in me trying to go through those scenarios in my head and project and think about that. How other people choose to interpret and manipulate a situation as it comes is not something that I'm going to spend energy thinking about right now. And again, I'm just going to have to be very gentle and hope that all the work that I've done so far really helps me out. And I think that's kind of like the last piece I want to come in, is that I think when any parent dies, I think it's, a really, really big and fundamental loss. And it makes us think about our own mortality and meaning in our lives. And again, I've kind of thought about this through the estrangement piece. But for me as an adult, to get through those difficulties in my life, whether it be the loss of a parent, loss of a friend, or any life challenges, I need to have the best mental health that I can, and I need to have the coping skills, and I need to be the best version of me that I can be to get through it all. And again, I just circle back to the fact that to be the healthiest version of me, that means that I am estranged from my family. Unfortunately, I am estranged from them. And so what can I do? Again, I can't see how I can reconnect with my family and be able to do all the things that I need to do. This is a really big subject and a big topic, and I'm really interested what you think of this video, and if you feel safe and comfortable sharing your thoughts or experiences, then I would appreciate them, and I think the other people in our Scapegoat community really appreciate the sharing of experiences as well. So if you can, great. If not, that's all good too. And if not, if you are in this difficult situation, again, I'm here and rooting for you. Thanks so much for being here, friends, and please take care. You know how to support the channel, and I will look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.